Hi, Tracy here with BibleJournalingMinistries.com, and in this video I'm going to share with you the many different mixed media journals that are on the market today, as well as some of my handmade ones. I'm so excited about the handmade ones because I think that they really do perform just as good as some of the other ones. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. All right, where to start? There are so many journals on the market. It is so hard to determine which one is the best one for you. And as you can see, I've tried as many of them as I possibly can. And so in this video, I'm going to share a little bit more about each of the different ones, and we'll go ahead and get started. And then at the end, I'll share some of the ones that I have made myself and why I just like them a little bit better than some of the more expensive ones that I'm about to show you. So let's go ahead and look at these. So this one here is a Dina Wakley Media Journal. I got this at the Creativation Fair a year ago, and it has 440 GSM cotton paper. And so cotton paper is really good because it absorbs the color. And so this is something that's really nice for watercolors. And you can see here I have an example here with a little bit of watercolor, and it looks like acrylic as well, that you can just see the colors are really vibrant. They really have soaked into the page, and there's no buckling at all because the paper thickness is really thick. So when you have thin paper, the paper will buckle. So those of you who Bible journal, you know, like you have faced this. Your whole life is nothing but buckling paper if you're using any kind of media in your Bible. So when you go into the art journaling space, you get to choose like what kind of paper you're going to use. And so when you start looking at these, you want to start considering the thickness of the paper, and then is it hot press or cold press? And that is actually pretty easy to answer because there aren't many that are hot press. There aren't very many journals out there that are hot pressed. I think the ones that I have here are just from Jane Davenport, and I'm pretty sure those are hot pressed because I think she said it, but again, there's nothing on the label that says it is hot pressed. But cold pressed or hot pressed are something that you might want to think about. And then the thickness of the paper, and for me the thickness of the paper is the biggest deal for me in terms, because I use, when I'm doing my art journaling, I use a lot of acrylics, not as much watercolor, and so I'm not really too concerned with buckling. So we'll just keep on going. So this is the Dina Wakley one, and it's just, these are like basically boards. I mean, they're really thick, as you can see. I mean, when you're talking about the weight of this, it is the 440 GSM cotton paper. So it's really going to soak in the watercolor. If you're going to use it, it's going to create really vibrant and beautiful images. Although because it soaks in the watercolor, it's not going to be as vibrant as if it's kind of more laying on the surface, like something with a flatter surface. So anyways, this is just an example of one that is a really nice media journal. The only thing that I had problem with this one is right at the, wherever they put the signatures, I started to see a little bit of glue there. But yeah, I don't really use this one too much, but it was given to me, and it is nice heavyweight cotton paper. So that's one. And then you can look at things like let's continue on in the Ranger series here. We have the Diane Delusions by Diane Reevely, her journals. Now her journals are made on what's called, she calls it cardstock. Like, she calls it mixed media cardstock. And honestly, to be honest with you, it feels like 110 cardstock. So I actually use 110 cardstock when I make my own journals. I also use other things, but you can just see here I have, you know, just where I have been playing in this art journal. I usually will just take some extra paint sometimes and just spray it, and that just gives me a start of a background, and then I can come in and do some mixed media on top of it or any kind of painting. So you can just see I've done a little bit of work here and half-finished projects, no big deal, but having a lot of fun with this. Now this has really heavy pages, but you can see that I do get some buckling. You can see here, actually in the video, this page is warping because I used a lot of watercolor, or maybe I used some of Jane Davenport's inks. But you can see that I have quite a bit more warping than something like that has like a 440 GSM weight. I mean, look how thick this is compared to this. So if buckling is a concern to you, you just want to get a higher level of poundage on your paper. So yeah, this is just a few examples of things that I just work on in my journal. And this is a nice journal because you can take the elastic and close it and it stays closed, and you can just carry it around with you. put it in your purse. And it just has a lot of other cute features to it as well. It has like pockets as well where you can just add things, so if you're carrying things with you. It's a nice all-around journal. It is cream colored, so if that's a factor to you, you might not like cream. And that would be a downer, I guess, if you didn't like cream, because I think all of her journals are cream, except for this one. This one was something that I think she introduced last year, where the pages are actually already started for you. So that's kind of nice, where you can have a background that's already started. A lot of times people kind of get hung up on when you're just looking at a plain background, and so sometimes it's a little hard to get started, but with something like this where the background's already pre-made, it's just really nice. So you can see here I did a little bit of an example in a workshop. Now I don't really use this size journal too much, so you can see that I haven't used a lot, but this one's pretty nice. This one is, it's got 56 double-sided blank and printed pages, and it has just the nice backgrounds that are available for you. And again, it features that mixed media cardstock, which really to me feels like 110 cardstock. That's what I think, but again, I didn't make this journal, so I don't know for sure. If you know, let me know if you know what weight it is, because I didn't put it on the cover. The other ones that I really like, and I actually have 3 of these. These are the Jane Davenport journals, and these are, I just really liked and still like these journals because I believe they are hot press journals. And the difference between cold and hot, I could go into it like, and it would be an hour or two to do a lesson, so I won't. But cold press is basically pressed cold, and hot press is pressed hot. And when the resulting paper that comes through after it's done, the hot press is smoother and the cold press has bumps on it. You'll see a lot more cold press on the market, and it's just a little bumpier, a little more absorbent, versus the hot press, a little more of a smoother surface. That's kind of the difference. So you look at cold and hot press and then the weight of the journal. So I like high weight journal, so as big as you can get. To an extent, I'm not a huge fan of that 400 I just showed you with Dina Wakley, because it's basically a board. So that's not really for me, but just a higher is better. So this one you can see here, just some drawings that I've been doing. I throw paint in there occasionally, and you know, it's just, you can see like there is a little bit of buckling, but not too much. I mean, it's not too bad, and there's a lot of paint on this one. See if I can show any more of these. Some additional mixed media projects that I just have worked on over the years, and again, I mean, it's not really warped that much. There's a few other things that I can show you. A little bit of scripture writing out here, a little bit of studying that I was doing with one of my journals. Yeah, and here's one where I did a lot of wash, and you can see that page is not buckled too much. So you can see why I just absolutely love the Jane Davenport line of journals. In fact, I have 3 of these, and I recently purchased another one that I haven't had a chance to play with yet, but it comes in a smaller size. So I think that would be really fun to take with me when I'm traveling, one of these little canvases. I can open it real quickly for you. I literally just bought it this week from Michael's with a 40% off coupon. And let me just show you real quickly. It's basically the same as her larger journal, or it should be, but yeah, it is. But it's just smaller, and so I'm excited to have this to take with me, and I just thought the cover was absolutely stunning and beautiful. So well done, Jane. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm excited to play with that later. Okay. So those are the ones that are, you know, Ranger or Jane Davenport line with American Crafts. And then you have some of the artist ones where you actually go into the art section and start looking at journals there. So some of the first ones I ever picked out, this one was my first mixed media journal. I actually think I finished it, or real close to it. At least I have drawings on every page, and some of them are drawings on the other page. How funny is that? But yeah, this was like one of the first mixed media journals I ever bought, and I just, you know, spent some time drawing in it, playing with colors and things like that. And this one here is a 300, a series 300, which has a 90-pound weight to it, and it's 5.5 by 8.5 inches with 40 sheets. So it's a mixed media paper with vellum surface. So the surface is really kind of a smooth, nice surface. It kind of reminds me of hot press, but I don't know. I don't think that is. but I can't say for sure because they don't really say here. But if you know, let me know. I would love to hear from you if you know for sure, but I believe it's cold press. Usually the hot press I have found, the papers are just more expensive, and this is actually not an expensive journal at all. That's why I kind of believe it might be cold press, but it does have a very nice smooth bound surface, and the paper weight is 90. So you can see I don't have like a lot of buckling, especially where you see something like where I've used a lot of watercolor in here, and there isn't a lot of buckling, so that's nice. 90-pound paper here. I mean, here's one where I did on both sides, you know, ink on one side, ink on the other side, and it's fine. So I don't know, it's a nice one of my first ones that I ever had, and I liked it so much I bought a second one. When I bought it, I don't think I used this one. Still sitting here new, ready to be used, but I did like it so much. It was one of my first ones, and it's just a really nice, it's a nice option for you. And I'll share with you why in just a moment, why I just love my own handmade ones better than these ones, mostly for cost, but I'll share with you in just a minute. The next one I have for you is the Canson watercolor cold press 7 by 10 inches paper. It's 140-pound weight, so it's really thicker. So you can see if I pull this out for you, you can see how absolutely thick that is. Now that one is definitely thicker than this one that's 90. So let me just show you the difference real quick. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there is a huge difference in the weight. So if I grab this one for you, and let me grab this one that was 400, so you can just see on camera the difference between the weight. Like look how much different it is. But look at this. I mean, the 400 is like almost twice as big. Actually, it's definitely twice as big as this 140. And the 140 is definitely bigger than the 90. So you can see when I talk about the pound of paper or the GSM, the thickness of it, why that matters, right? Because you for sure don't get buckling in something that's really, really thick. And for the thin stuff, you just gotta, you know, play around with it. It depends on what medium you're using, whether or not you're gonna get much buckling. You can see a little bit of buckling with the one that's 90. So that's just important to know as you're trying to figure out which works for you. Now this is a 140. Now this is the same weight that Prima Marketing makes their mixed media journals out of. I haven't used theirs at all, but I saw it the other day and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try it. But you know, I just like my handmade ones, so I just go with those. So that is the watercolor cold pressed Canson journal that you can find at any art store. All right, then you have these like sketch ones. Now this one I bought for my dad, and he actually decided he doesn't want to do any sketching, so I just ended up keeping it. This one is fine tooth sketch paper, is 100 sheets, and it's 60 pounds. So guys, this is not for mixed media, and I just wanted to share this with you because I'm thinking you might go to the store and you'll say, oh, look at this, this one says 400, and so maybe you might get a little confused. Don't get confused. This is not for mixed media. This is for anything dry. So if you're going to be using like pencils, colored pencils, pastels, and maybe charcoal would be really good in something like this, where it's a dry medium, not wet. So this is just something that I wanted to share with you, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Also, you might go to the store and say, oh, look at these Artist Loft ones. Look how nice and big they are. And they look really great, but these are also sketch journals. And so if you are going to use these for mixed media, just be prepared that they're going to buckle. And you might not like that, but you know, I think these are only $5. So, you know, if you're okay with buckling and you want to save the money, then sure, go get a sketch one. It'll work just fine. Or you know what, better yet, make your own, and I will have videos for you on how to do that. I forgot to mention this one. This one, I don't even know if she still sells it or not. This is a Dina Wakley Mixed Media Journal by Ranger as well. But this is one I think she put out about 3 years ago, where it had like watercolor paper, canvas in it, burlap in it, all different mediums. And I thought this was really great if you wanted to experiment with the type of paper you like. So if you like canvas, maybe you want to try it out. If you know, like burlap and you want to play with it, I thought this was a really great option for things to just kind of try out, especially, oh, there's even craft paper in here, guys. Like, it has all the paper And but it is slightly expensive, so I'm not sure if you want to try that or not. It's up to you. But she just had like so many different mediums in there. And again, I got this in a class, and I just thought it, I mean, and look how beautiful the paper just really is gorgeous in terms of the vibrancy of the colors that you can see. So yeah, that's just an example of one that you might want to look at that has all different kinds of papers and fibers in it. So let's talk about handmade ones, which are more of my jam, because handmade ones, I think they're just not, they're kind of precious in a way, but not to the extent where you have to worry about it. So the problem that I have with some of these journals is you spend $30 on a journal, or even 20, and you go, oh gosh, you know, I only want to put the good stuff in there, right? So you can see like some of my journals, especially the ones where they're like $30. So this one right here, you know, I really worked on these. Like I just wanted to put, you know, except for where I'm working on a background and I haven't completed it, you know, I wanted really just gorgeous, gorgeous things in this journal. So I hesitated sometimes to do anything in it. You can see just, I have some of these just different things in here. So I really considered this a little more quote unquote precious than my handmade ones. So because of that, it's a little bit harder to use these journals because you might feel like, oh, I don't want to mess up that page. Side note, if you are that way and you still want to get a nice journal, if you get the kind that are coil bound and you don't like it, you can always just rip it out. You just, you know, rip it out, you'll be fine. No big deal. And for these ones, it's a little bit harder to rip out because if you rip out one of these pages, it kind of ruins the integrity of maybe the pages attached to on the other side. So just food for thought. So the main reason that I'm telling you why you might want to use a homemade journal instead of something like this is because you might feel that you don't want to damage or ruin an expensive journal. And that kind of holds you back from really trying out unique and new things. So that's why I love the handmade journals so much. So let me share them with you now. Okay, first things first. You can make a journal out of anything, as you can clearly see here. This is a holiday catalog that Tiffany sent me in the mail, and I have used it for different art journals, just trying out different new techniques, just having a lot of fun with it. You can see that I even put things in that were a little more sticky. You can kind of actually hear them stick a little bit. I could probably put a gloss over it and then it would be great, but I didn't. And so I just kind of made this little journal. I have some tuck spots in there. So you can use a holiday catalog, and that's free. Like you get it in the mail and you just reuse it for your journal, your art journaling. Totally okay. Another thing you can do is go get a book from your Goodwill or your thrift store. And so here's one that I got. This is a home decorating book that I got a long time ago that I just use occasionally to do art in. You know, so I gesso the page and then I paint over it. And it's just a nice little mixed media art journal. And that's just a home decorator book. Okay, then I have another one here. This is a board book. It's for little kids, and this one was a ratty board book. I'm trying to see if I have much in here, but it's really heavy board, right? So it's not going to buckle too much. And I think I started doing some backgrounds. Here's a picture of the book itself, and I did the cover. That's all I really got to with this, with the Dancing for God cover, which actually this page came out of this book here called Dancing for God. And so here's another example of one that I think was really fun to make. I just used the cover of the book and I coiled it, and I have videos on how to coil books, so you can definitely check those out. But for this one, and I love this because it had the library card, the original library card still in it. It was really cool. This one I just pre-made background. So just like you saw with the Diane Reevely one, where she had pre-made ones that you can buy pre-made, here are the ones I just made, and I just, you know, kind of have them ready to go. And I reused some paper, just regular, this is just regular paper, guys. Before, the other ones I was showing you, those papers were the ones that came in the mail, like, or came in the book. For this one, I added paper to it. So this is just regular, like, I don't know, sketch paper. This is actually a page in the book that I reused. And this is another page in the book that I reused. There's a hymnal in here that I threw in here. So just a lot of different mediums that give me a nice place to start with my art. And because the background is already ready to go, I can start and freely work on it. And guess what? This was like $1/4 to make. So guess what? I'm not worried about it. If I mess up, I don't care. You know, I really don't care. I'm just gonna have fun with it. I'm gonna be free. I'm not gonna worry about anything, and I'm just gonna go have fun doing my faith art journaling. So it's you know, it's definitely a plus. Here's a book that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and I started reading the book and I was like, I don't really like the book, so it went in my pile to donate. And then one of the days, it was recovering from my knee replacement surgery, I was like, I'm just gonna take that book and turn it into an art journal. And so you can see here, and I did a lot of journaling when I was laid up in my bed. You know, I added some hymnals in here. I've done a little bit of art. There's some pockets that I included in here. Here's a little picture of an angel. There's some scrapbooking paper I stuck in here. You know, it's just, the options are endless. It has pockets that I put some tags in. You know, I did ink on all the pages, cut some magazine out. And look, a paint spilled on this page, and guess what? Don't care, not a big deal. It's just a page for me, just an art journal for me, just to throw things in as I just kind of work on different things. There's a cute picture of Clark Gable in there as well. So a lot of different things in this one. And again, dollar store, so $1. A couple more I have for you. My Frosty Snowman little golden book. This one is really cute. This is more of a journal as opposed to an art journal. So this one has the entire book in here, and then it has spaces for like writing and journaling. And there's some paper in here. You could do a little bit of drawing, but this paper is just regular, like 60-pound cardstock paper. So it would be good for pencils or colored pencils. But this, and I threw some scrapbook paper in there, but that's another option. You know, making something out of this. I think I paid 75 cents for this one. And then all the other stuff I just had in my house. So, you know, I was able to make this for maybe $1 again, probably. Then I have this one here that is just made out of a little bit of chipboard that I had, and then just some excess watercolor paper that I had. And so, oh, there's even a little canvas in here. So I just added my extras in here. So when you have extra papers lying around or extra materials, you can bind them into a book and make your own little art journals. This one here, this one's funny because this one's out of scrapbook paper. I had these Your Story scrapbooking kits forever. I think I've had them in my house for 10 years. And finally I was tired of looking at them, and I was gonna like donate them, and which would have been great, but then I was thinking, can I use these in any way? And so what I did was I took the You Story book, I cut the end off, coiled it, and then I added all the scrapbooking paper that came with it that I made backgrounds. So I just took the scrapbooking paper and made painted backgrounds with them using my gel press essentially, and just gel pressed a ton of paper, and so now I have backgrounds forever. So again, kind of modeling after that Delusions Jumpstart journal, I've got this one, and you know, this one I would say probably cost me, you know, $5, because I know that when I bought the kit a long time ago, I think the kit was on sale for $5, but honestly I was gonna throw it out anyways, and so why not use it? And you know, you can see I've done some pretty decent work in there. A lot of fun with that one. Lastly, this is the one that I will be sharing a video with you on, how to make these journals. Now I love these ones. These are little art and sketch journals as well, but these are made out of different types of paper. So this one here, you can see, feel the weight on this one, is actually made with, let me show you here. This one's made with mixed media paper, and this is a 98-pound mixed media paper. And the reason why I used this mixed media paper in this journal was because my dog got a hold of this journal and started eating it. So what do I do with a journal that a dog's really almost destroyed? Well, I start to pull the paper out and make little tiny journals. And these little tiny journals are really great because you can put them in your purse and you can take them with you wherever you go. And then they're so easy to fill up that you don't have to, like, you can actually feel like you accomplished, you know, finishing up an entire journal. So this one here I think has like 6 pages to it plus a cover. And I'll share a video with you on how these are made. And so, and what's also great about these is that they actually fit in my little book holders. There is another video that I have where I actually show you the covers that I use. Okay, well anyways, this one is done, you can see, with that same paper. And the difference is the paper here, it's 98 pounds, but it's still a little thin, so you can start to see it buckle a little bit, but not too bad, not too bad. This one here, I had some acrylic paints and some glitter, and I just started a background with that one. You can see I do a lot of starting of backgrounds. It just makes it easier when I'm ready to do some mixed media journaling, because then I don't have to actually go and do a background because it's already done for me. Here's another example. I did one on different covers. Here's one that I attached two together. And then, so that was done with the 98 pound. This one is done with sketch paper, so you can see it's a lot thinner. And just scrapbooking paper to cover it. And again, you just put these in little journals that you make. So like if I was going to take something like this and make that into a little cover, I can insert these into it, although this is too big. These are too big for that, and then I would have a nice little holder for it. And that's why I love these, because you can take them, you put them in your purse, and then when you're done, you can put them in, bind them into a nice book. It's just really nice and convenient. Finally, this is the one I'm going to show you a video on, because I think you're going to really love this. This one is made out of 110 cardstock, 110 pound cardstock. So you want to save a little bit of money, go ahead. You don't have to go out and buy a lot of mixed media journals and spend, you know, 20 bucks on one. You can literally get the premium cardstock that you can get from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. You can see this one is Michael's Coordinations cardstock, and I think sometimes this goes on sale for like a couple dollars, and you get like 25 sheets. So if you're going to use like 5 sheets, then you can make a journal for like 50 cents, definitely under $1. And you can see that it holds up pretty good. Here I used some ink, I used some texture paint, I used some Neo colors, or actually those were scribble sticks I came in here with to test it out. And I mean, it is buckling and there's quite a bit of stuff on here, but that's okay, because you know, it's gonna flatten out over time. It's not a big deal. I'm not gonna sell it, so this is just for me. And so I will do a video on how to actually make these and bind these so that you can have them and make a lot of them for really inexpensive. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. Give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.